All right, hello, good morning. So I wasn't able to, let's see, just 2 seconds. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so I wasn't able to stream yesterday. It was like the first proper spring. Like now, spring is actually coming to Norway. And we had a really nice day yesterday, so yeah, I wasn't able to stream, but I did code a little bit actually. So I got like the message passing working from Mobx Lite to the Overmind Devtools. I'm discussing with Henry, one of the guys who's been like with Overmind from the start, and who's just really like put the spark back into Overmind and done some awesome work there to bring it up to date with React 19 and everything. And we're kind of discussing how like the Overmind DevTools is pretty awesome. There's a lot of work that's gone into that, and how we maybe could make that more generic so that other tools can also use it. And I think the strategy there will be that we're actually going to fork the DevTools and create a new dev tool which has a different name, and we're gonna make the interface, like the message passing, way more generic. And then Overmind and Mobx Lite can use the same dev tool, and then it opens up the opportunity for other people to also build similar things. Cool, but yeah, so we're gonna try to build a little app here, I think, and let's see. I'm just gonna, no, I'm not gonna wait. I'm just gonna stream it. It's early Sunday morning, so I guess people aren't joining. But this was my only time to do the stream, so let's jump into it. Let's see. Okay, so here we have the code. And for those who doesn't know what Mobx Lite is a new take on Mobx, taking into account like all the changes that's happened since Mobx's inception. And even though we call Mobx like transparent reactivity, it's not truly transparent in the code. Like every class you create references either by decorators or the make auto observable. All your components has an observer, higher order component, and so on and so on. But Mobx Lite is truly transparent in the sense that there's nothing in your classes that dictates what's reactive, and none of your components are expressing any type of reactivity. It kind of just works. And the way it does that is by basically, yeah, maybe we can just start doing something. So let's do class, maybe we can even just call it state, and we're gonna have some to-dos here, but maybe we can kind of start by adding a new to-do. So I'm gonna add a new to-do title. So I'm gonna put that into the state, and then we're gonna have set new to-do title. And the reason we're gonna have look at that, it just fills in everything for me. That's nice. So the reason we're gonna have that is because when we, oh, it even did this. So when we expose our state, that's the only point where we reference the reactivity. And what's really cool about this is that when this state value is returned, nothing has happened yet. It's just wrap your state in a proxy, and that proxy is responsible for basically enhancing your state with reactivity based on what React actually needs to be reactive. So whatever React accesses lazily becomes reactive, which is a very interesting approach. And what that does is that instead of you doing like have to explicitly set decorators, or you have to do make auto observable and make exceptions for like your private state and stuff like that, it just works because whatever React accesses needs to be reactive, and whatever React doesn't access doesn't need to be reactive. So that's really cool. And what it also does is that it protects mutations. So you're not allowed to change new to-do title directly, which means that you don't have to use the concept of an action or like a flow or anything like that. Things are just protected out of the box. And lastly, it also binds this. So binds the methods. And it also ships information to the Devtools, which is the thing we're kind of testing here. So if we do this now, let's refresh our app. And we can see now the reason new to do title came up here is because the actual component was looking at it, right? So if we didn't actually point to new to do title here, it wouldn't pop up here at all. And then we can try to change it, and we can see it changing live here. And like going to the actions, we can see all the actions running and what it's changing. So we can continue on this and say like, I guess we can expose the to-dos, and we're gonna, let's just create a type to-do DTO, title completed. And then we can say add to-do. And yeah, exactly. Sorry, did I mess up your groove? And then we can, okay. It's very interesting. Oh yeah, okay, let's just go ahead and add everything. AI is pretty awesome. Okay, so it kind of filled out everything for me. So when we go here now and we say, hey, and I'll add that, you can see that everything is updating here. And in actions, we see that we added a new, oh, interesting. Oh, fudge, sorry, I forgot to build it. Let's do that again. Hey, add. Yeah, so now you can see that we actually unshifted the to-dos with this information. We have, oh, there wasn't two, oh, fudge, that's a bug. Why did that happen? I think I know why. The thing is that we're actually observing, so the Devtools is built in such a way that it replicates mutations internally, but we're also passing the actual, maybe we should fix that. This is really a test, right? This is not like this is working. I think that's the title of the stream. No, I said running. It's definitely running. But yeah, maybe we can take a look at that and see if we can fix it. So the thing that happens here is that the Devtools itself is taking this message here and running an unshift on the to-dos reference inside the Devtools. But we're also passing a state update from the client on these to-dos because they changed. So I think we need to do a similar thing that we did with classes. Let's see. Where do we have that? Where are you? It's auto run. Here we go. So ifs and is custom class instance, because what I think happens is that when you're auto running around an object or an array, it's actually going to run when you make changes to the object or the array itself. But we don't want to actually do that for arrays here, or even objects. Yeah, we kind of only want to do this on primitives. Okay, we're just going to extend this based on what we experience. And then we'll see what this ends up with. Oh, let's see. Hey. Yeah, so now we have one item there, which is correct. Cool. And then if I toggle this, oh, interesting. There's more stuff not working here. Why didn't that work? Well, it did toggle it. No, Wait, what happened here? Yeah, what happened here? That's interesting. I already ran this in... Huh, that's weird. Maybe this is because of the... Oh, I probably didn't check that. Anyways, let's see if we can figure that one out. Or array more than once, it will, this is stated in the Devtools. So this is like related to actually creating a more generic Devtool. So the Devtool itself isn't responsible for doing its own mutations. Like this should just come from the client. The client should just pass in whatever state updates needs to be applied to the state tree here. But yeah, why didn't that one work? So it doesn't seem like it even sent a message on this, so that's interesting. So we're gonna log that because let's see. So we're creating this action proxy, which is the thing that's tracking everything in terms of Devtools. And then we're creating an object mutation proxy on the class, but I don't think we do that for... So let's see, create object mutation proxy. Where's create object? Yeah, there we have it. And then we have, if it's create array mutation proxy. Yeah, I think the problem is when we do a getter here, we're not actually, yeah, exactly. So we're not creating, let's do options, and then we have to check here. We have to do the same kind of check that we do way down here. So I'm just gonna do that thing. Create array mutation. Like all this needs to be properly cleaned up, but I don't think we need to check this array specifically here. Yeah, this is a little bit weird, but okay, let's run with it. Yeah, we're not doing the nested mutation proxy, so I think that's why it's problematic. Oh, let's see. Hey. Oh, now that one didn't work. What? Oh, what did I do? Oh, sorry. I think it's because, for fuck's sake. You know what? Let's rather do, wait a minute, create. Oh, what's that on array? Sorry. That shouldn't be on array. That should be on create object mutation proxy. That's where I wanted it. Let's see now. Refresh. Okay. And then if I do this, oh, it worked, but it just set it on the wrong spot. And that's because I'm not building up the path here. So we're gonna do options. That's fine. But we're gonna change the path. And I think we're missing parent key get. Yeah, I think we want to key a string as well here. Let's see what happens now. Hey. There we go. And I think this one should also be fine now. Yeah, exactly. So you see exactly which one you're changing. Cool. We fixed that. Whoop. But it's really nice that you have this visual tool, and especially when you load up an app, you get so much information about how that app actually works, which is really, really nice to have. And all of this it's so interesting how all of this fits together, because classes is like, React requires you to consume actual primitives and pure like arrays and like normal objects. It's not designed to actually consume classes, but classes in Mobx isn't classes. Well, they are classes, but they're like more singletons, and they're hosts for like primitives and how should I call it? Like JSON-like values, right? So a class is just, you can think of it as a namespace, an immutable namespace. So you never like consume a class directly in React, right? You just use the class to point to actual values you actually consume in React. So it's very interesting, because this is kind of what you want in React, especially in terms of observation. You kind of want to have this tree where each like node in the tree can represent a namespace that you want to consume. And you want to listen to that namespace, right? So currently here, we're kind of listening to the root, but you could have like a nested namespace here being something completely different. And whatever is consuming like that namespace, that nested namespace, that's the thing you want to, that's the thing you want to listen to. You don't want to listen to the root, so you kind of reconcile the whole thing. Anyways, it's just a reflection that classes are like state hosts, kind of static state hosts. They never change. You can't add or remove properties to it. You don't consume the class itself. Like, it's a different value than like strings and numbers and blah blah, and even like normal objects, because they can add and remove properties to them. Anyways, let's continue on this thing. So what we can do now is that we can change something here. So we can say that actually we want our to-dos to be private, and what happens now is that you can't access to-dos anymore, which means that they kind of don't become observable. But what we rather want to do, we want to say get filtered to-dos. And we want to say return this.todos filter. And of course, we want to base it on an actual filter. So let's put to-dos up here, and we're going to say filter all. And this needs to be all completed active. It's so nice. It just feels, so this is what you're seeing here now, how it autofills everything. This is like the power of Windsurf. Like, it's just taking that initial like shadow auto suggestion that was already like beefing up the current auto suggestion, and now it's like even on next level kind of thing. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, I think it's a neighbor kid. I'm home alone, but I didn't lock the door. I think it's the neighbor kid. No. Nei, er du tilbake? Skulle ikke dere på skolen da?
Ja, vi skulle ta litt mat, så skulle vi få is.
Ok.
Kan vi ta den her?
Ja, men skal du ikke være ute da? Du, pappa holder på med noe. Jeg kommer etterpå, ok? Okay. Yeah, they were supposed to go somewhere, but they didn't. Isn't that typical? Anyways, so now we have filter to-dos, and we're going to consume filter to-dos. So what's interesting about this is that even though we're not consuming to-dos directly, we are consuming this getter. So what's going to happen now is that we're going to see that we have filtered to-dos, and it's marked as derived, which is basically a computed in Mobx. And we also have the to-dos because a derived will make its dependencies observable as well. It's kind of like accessing a property on the class itself. Yeah, so if we add something here, hey, and we can see the derived updating as well. Oh, wait, something bad happened. What happened there? I think it lost its... Wait a minute. Oh, interesting. That's another bug. Let's see. So we have computed. I wonder what happened there. So I'm changing. Okay, I wonder if. Oh, wait a minute. It's the filter to dos that doesn't get the. Oh. Wait a minute. No, that's not true because this one didn't change. Wait a minute. Does this one change? Yeah, so it's this one that's not getting its. Oh, I wonder what that is. Yeah, true. Yeah, this is interesting because. Oh, I think I know what it is. We're observing the computed. Wait a minute. Where's the computed? Here's the computed. So yeah, I know what's happening. We're observing the. We are kind of observing the computed, but the computed is returning. Wait a minute. What's happening here? Oh, here we. Oh, sorry. Here we are returning it. Oh, what's happening there? So it's trying to. So I guess it's like sending two messages. But one of them is bound to. Yeah, I wonder. I just need to see where it's coming from first. Could you just... I want to see if it's coming from here. Oh, sorry. Okay. So we're sending those. Boop. Add. So we're sending two pieces of state here. We're saying filter, and we're saying data. Oh, I think maybe I know what's happening. So this is just okay, so it's not coming from here, but I think we have more type state. Wait, is it coming from here? So here we're sending path. Yeah, so it's definitely coming from there. And title, hey, okay. But what's this thing? Target. Create object proxy. But I'm a little bit unsure. Why are we sending state here? What happens if we don't send state there? Yeah, false, and then I change it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm not sure why we were sending state there. Probably something I just put in there. Okay, so now you can see the filter to do's reflects the thing. Oh, this should like be on top here. Anyways, cool. So let's see if we can do something else fun here. So we're getting a filter to do's. Like this is already pretty complex, and there's some tests where like the thing is that the proxy encapsulate these state hosts, like these class hosts in their path. So it doesn't matter if you're passing an instance of state down to a nested state and you make mutations there, for example, that's going to be reflected. What's also in place here is actually maybe I would have like I don't know, private toggle something like that, index. So I would do kind of like this. So what's happening now is that I'm kind of sending test. Let's look at action. Like I'm calling an action from an action, and that's also actually reflected here. So you have like nested execution. So you can really get into the gist of what's actually happening here, which is pretty cool. But the other cool thing that I had a hard time figuring out how I wanted to approach it was effects. So Overmind has a concept of effects, and all state management I worked on has some concept of effects, it being called an environment or effects or whatever. And the point of that abstraction is that you're hiding all the implementation details of the environment from your actual state management code. So any reference to the DOM, to data fetching, to any persistence, it doesn't matter what it is. Like if there's something that the state management doesn't really care about at a low level, you put that in as an effect. So an example of that here would be like, okay, maybe we want some local storage persistence. So I should be able to do like local JSON storage, for example. And then I want to do set get. Maybe I want to set like a namespace here. So constructor. I want to call this a prefix. So I want to set key value unknown. Yeah, it's it's basically this. So now I have something called a JSON storage, and like how would we kind of make this into an effect? And I was thinking about, okay, maybe we need a new primitive called like maybe a class called effect, and you pass your effects in there. Maybe you need to extend an effect, and then, but then I was thinking about this proxy, and it just kind of works because the point is that anything that's public to React, that's going to be observers or observable. So basically, if you have a custom class that's been accessed, like, because what happens when React kind of points to state here is that like the state and any nested custom class, they're going to be cached in a proxy. So there's a proxy cache. but it might point to, so when you run an action, you might be pointing to a custom class that's not been accessed by the proxy, right? And the thing is that whatever's like observable state, for the action to make sense to change some state there, that state has to be accessed by React first. I don't think there's ever a scenario where you access some state that changes some other observable state that's not already being watched by React. That doesn't really make sense, the way I think about it. But anyways, I'm going to show you how this works. Skal ikke dere la meg gjøre meg ferdig da?
Streamer du?
Jeg streamer.
Hva betyr det? Betyr det at du på YouTube akkurat nå?
Jeg på YouTube akkurat nå.
Så... Men hvorfor snakker du med oss da, hvis du streamer?
Fordi dere kom inn. Jeg må jo gi dere oppmerksomhet. Men jeg snart ferdig.
Vi skal på is.
Jeg hørte det. Kos dere. Okay, so the point here is that, first of all, I want to make this storage private, right? I don't want React to access this directly. And if I do want React to access it, I do want to make it observable, right? So it's kind of like, it's kind of insane, but this like, this like non-runtime keyword of private is actually controlling what is like observable state and what are effects, which is kind of insane. Like nobody would ever come to that conclusion by just thinking about this. It's just actually running the thing and realizing that when you have React informing your state management what needs to be reactive, suddenly it's what you expose to React that determines your reactive system. And then like the keywords suddenly make sense. So what we can do here, we can say this.storage, and then we're going to set the to-dos, and we're going to do the same here. No, we don't want to set that new to-do title. Okay, so what's going to happen now? Hopefully this works. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to add this. Fuck, we got an error. Cannot convert a symbol value to a string. What did I do? Oh, that's interesting. Did we actually get... No, we didn't even see it. Okay, sorry. So for some reason in the proxy, which proxy is this? Yeah, it's the one that sends the effect. But path, what did it say? Cannot convert a symbol value to a string. This is weird. Effect. Wait, where is the effect? Type effect. There we are. So this path, how could this be a symbol? Okay, let's take a look at it. Console.log. Okay, so I have a feeling, yeah, let's just look at it. Oh, look at that. Oh, so it's actually, oh. Oh, that's interesting. So it's adding those things to the path. Why? That's interesting. Create effects proxy. Is custom class, that's fine, but it feels like it's already... Because from here, it shouldn't create another effects proxy, which I find to be weird. how did it get those paths? So, oh, could this be, oh no, I think maybe we might have a problem here. We might have a problem because it seems like Mobx is like actually diving into properties. I'm gonna try something. Symbol. Type of key equals symbol. I'm just gonna do one little thing here. What was it? It was oh yeah. Okay, but that's interesting because it's accessing a symbol. So that means that we shouldn't actually do anything there. Return result. Okay, so okay, it has to be the create action proxy. That's not actually, so this is apply, that's fine. But then we have the create array mutation proxy. Yeah, so here we're not like if type of, we're just going to return. The same needs to be done here. Okay, I think that's the issue. Okay, let's see now what happens. Okay, so it actually ran it now. Yeah, you see this? And now it actually understands that storage.set is an actual effect, and it shows here. So this is pretty awesome. Oh, what's happening with that? Oh, sorry, it's the kids. There we go. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. And what you're kind of left with is that you can just think about writing your state management and just think about what do you want to expose to React, what don't you want to expose to React. And whatever you expose to React and it can access will lazily become observable. And then what you hide from React in terms of classes, those are considered effects. And they are effects because they're not like something to be observed. They're just kind of like a side effect, right? It's exactly what it is, which I find so fascinating. So yeah, I'm kind of pumped about this. And I guess like everything is kind of working now. So the next step would be to kind of just clean up the implementation. And then it needs to be tested on something bigger, but we already have the family Scrum app where we can just basically run these dev tools. Yeah, so we can just run it there, and there we have like, yeah, we have some effects and stuff. So we can, yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see if we can get that running. But I think we kind of went through, the only thing that's not like properly tested here are the nested things. But that should just work, I think. Yeah, this is really what I wanted to show. This is what I wanted to show. I'm not in the mood to go in and start like cleaning stuff up at the moment. Yeah, maybe we'll leave it at that. Maybe we'll leave it at that. Yeah, we just have to try. Well, one thing we can try that I'm curious about is, yes, I think maybe we'll need to change the implementations here. Yeah, let's just take a look at it. So we're gonna add like, what if like to-dos is like a query, right? Is query. And then we're gonna basically promise.resolve. Har du fått is? Skal du det?
Ja, men det.
Ok.
Du sa, vi kunne game sammen.
Ja da, vi kan det. Så bra. Let's see. So we're gonna do, well, we're not gonna,
Pappa,
ja,
du har gått og snakke engelsk.
så skal jeg. Tusen takk. Let's see, to-dos data. And I think we can just do, yeah, and then we're gonna do this to-dos revalidate. Oh, yeah, we don't need a storage thing. Do this. Yeah, I think we can do something like this. Let's see what happens. I'm very curious.
Jeg husker den sangen, pappa.
Gjør du det?
Ja.
Let's see. Okay, filter to-dos. Yeah, so there's definitely something that doesn't quite... No, that's true, because it's looking at... No, it's... Yeah, I guess I'm kind of missing value here. But I would make these query and mutation abstractions, I would make them classes so that you can think of them as... yeah, those kinds of abstractions. But yeah, what's going to happen here? Okay, so it did add it. Yeah, but it's treating this as a nested action call because it's really it's the way it should be. Because it's like an observable thing. You can observe the query, so that's true. But I'm curious why not value is here. Yeah. And why it's showing fetch and revalidate and subscribe. I think it's because it's not a class. So we need to refactor that to an actual class. Oh yeah, it definitely is. Because we're just enhancing classes. We're not enhancing objects in the same way. I think.
Pappa.
Det er meg, vet du. Okay, but this was fun. It's definitely working. So I'm gonna clean this up and we're gonna refactor the internals of like queries and mutations, and then we're gonna try to apply this to the family Scrum app. By the way, I have a new idea for the family Scrum app. It's I thought about like these conversations we have with AIs being very like one-to-one. And since the family Scrum is like a family app and it's there to resolve tension in like just, yeah, like typically in a partnership, like one person kind of needs to talk about everything that's happening all the time, and the other person kind of wants to just ride the wave and kind of be a bit more laid back about things. So that's like the family Scrum app is there to be a third person in the relationship. So whoever needs to kind of share something with the family can kind of do it there, and then it's up to each person to kind of, in their own pace, kind of go in and see what's happening. But like at least one day a week, everybody sits down and looks through everything. But one thing is practical things. Another thing is like dynamics, right? More abstract social aspects of like being in a relationship, especially with kids. So there are like frustrations and stuff, and often these frustrations, they kind of pop up when things are intense. And it would be so interesting to have like a shared thread, AI thread in the app for the whole family. And since we have family data, like if you write something to that thread, we can put which person is writing this into that thread. And then we instruct the AI to be like a family consultant type of thing. So if someone has like something that they feel is frustrating or something like that, they can write that in this like family thread thing. But what they'll get some recognition immediately from the AI about what they're saying. And if someone then comes back and say, no, I don't like how you think about this. This is how I think about this. And the AI will kind of go in there and try to resolve the tension, which is not like necessarily of a practical nature. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. So I really want to build that and test it. But yeah, anyways. That's it for now. So I guess we'll speak tomorrow. I'm gonna work on the SDK again. So bye for now.